You're listening to Kitsap County Squatch Watch, where we discuss all things paranormal, cryptids, ghosts, UFOs, and anything else out of the ordinary. Has something strange ever happened to you? I want to hear about it all. Stories and interviews are uploaded to YouTube with the experiencer's permission. If you simply want to tell your story and keep it private, I'm a great listening ear and will keep our conversation confidential. Some people just need to get things off of their chest. Whatever it may be, let me know at kitsapsquatchwatch@gmail.com. An anonymous community member living at one of the edges of Tahuya State Forest, the exact location will remain undisclosed, had a couple of experiences in the summer of 2024. The story is as follows. Hey, I have a very interesting story I have not been able to figure out at all. So a couple of years ago, I think I actually got a pic of Bigfoot. I live right next to Tahuya State Forest. It is literally in my backyard. So I went and put a 40-pound bag of corn about a quarter mile from the house. There are deer and black bears back there. Well, one of my cameras is about close to 6 feet. I had put it up there well so the bears would leave it alone. One night, a figure was able to open the camera and turn it away from the pile, and then unscrewed the antenna and devoured the huge pile of corn. I know it wasn't a bear. I have a bunch of pics of those. Here are the pics. I also have a video of what I found. It almost looked like it crawled. I have never seen that big of round indents in the ground. The community member then sent me these photos and one video. The first photo shows their hand in the middle of a print left behind by the visitor. It's an incredibly large print. The next photo is a still from the game camera that this community member spoke about in his email. I was immediately drawn to the left side of the picture. One could say that it is possibly moss, but not only does it show in another picture that the moss isn't long enough to be caught in the camera's view path, this also looks like hair or fur. Here it is in color and circled in red. The next image is of a blurry figure covered in hair. This figure has to be at least 6 feet tall because that is the height that our community member set it up at. He said that he did this specifically to avoid detection from bears and deter them from going after the camera. In this black and white image, there are what could be eyes and a mouth on the creature that is interfering with the camera. Here is an edit of the photo. Usually when you go camping, the rule is to hang your food in a tree 15 feet up and 5 feet out from the trunk, so that bears don't get into it. It's important to note that while we don't have confirmation on what kind of creature this is, it is located at a 6-foot height and we must remain open-minded rather than jumping to one conclusion or another. I've marked the back of the head with an arrow and circled the face. Study that for a moment. The photo of the game camera shows that it sits strapped to a tree with a ridge rising behind it, and we've already established that it's 6 feet high. This means that whatever this was had to stand on the downward side of the tree in order to open the game camera. Noticeably, the antenna is bent and a stick is laying between the camera and the trunk of the tree. The camera is knocked askew, now facing away from the 40-pound bag of corn mentioned earlier. Perhaps the being that did this struggled as it tried to open the case with a stick, moving it around and bending the antenna until it finally achieved its goal of privacy. In the video, the person is climbing up the ridge. He said, "So when I went down there, when I took the video, you could tell that something very big had been down. The area I filmed was just bushes, but it was the path it took. And those circle indents, I think it was from it crawling, maybe a knee print, not sure." The prints in this video are very large and very deep, suggesting that something tall and heavy created them. There are imprints in the ground that also match handprints, as if something with fingers dug them into the ground as it went up and down the hillside. The timestamp on the video is 6:55 in the morning on August 31st, 2024. In August, sunrise usually happens around 6:30 a.m. and 6:45 a.m. I looked up when the sun rose on that date in history, and the sunrise for August 31st, 2024 was at 6:29 a.m. that day. So this footage was captured just after sunrise. Sunrise happens right after civil twilight, which is the brightest phase of twilight. During this time, there is enough natural light to illuminate and allow for normal activities. You can see the horizon, the stars, and Venus easily. However, if you're driving a car or flying an airplane, it's legally required to use things like headlights. At the time these images were captured, the sun was at altitude 4 degrees and heading 82 degrees east. It would be considered daytime. The community member also had an experience previous to this with an unknown creature while camping with his child in June of 2024. He woke up to something walking around their tent. He said that it sounded bipedal, but what freaked him out was that as it walked around the tent, it shocked the tent when it hit the corner. He wrote that he laid there with his rifle ready to shoot. He said that you could hear it sniffing. He was positive that there was no way it could be a bear because of where he placed the tent. I asked him if he ever heard noises coming from the woods that he couldn't place, or if there were any strange happenings on the property at night. He replied, I have heard weird noises sometimes, but normally it's just that eerie quiet when all the noises stop. It's been a while, though, since I've heard anything back there. This reminds me of something that happened to a sibling and a family friend of mine. They were walking up the dry creek bed of Renslands Creek in Tahuya in the early 2000s. I think maybe 2006. They found a huge footprint that had distinct toe indentations in the middle of the creek bed. They told me that where they had walked, each side along the creek bed was high bank, but there was only one footprint. They said it was as if something had jumped from one side of the creek to the middle of the creek bed and jumped from there to the other side. We used to run around that whole area as kids. One day, we were a little further up the road on the same family's property, but on the ridge side. There were at least 4 of us standing in the woods, starting to walk up a game trail. All of a sudden, a bunch of crashing and thrashing cut through the silence of the woods. It went on for a good amount of time while we stood and tried to identify where on the ridge it was coming from. It didn't sound like a tree falling. It sounded like something huge was crashing through the forest and breaking branches and saplings as it went, or maybe having a large fit. When the noises stopped, we fought the ferns and other plants to get to the area where we thought the sounds had been coming from. We couldn't find any signs of anything having been there. No animal prints, no broken branches, nothing. Everything was quiet. We could have also been looking in the wrong place, but we tried very hard to locate any evidence of these noises. It was strange. Here are a couple of other reports that I've received. One witness reported an obvious ape call when they were in the Olympic Mountains back in 2001. Another witness reported to me that he was working up in the Lake Cushman area early in the morning when he heard a few very distinct whoops come from the woods across the street. When he went to investigate to see where it came from, he had an eerie feeling like he was being watched, so he turned back before going any deeper in the forest. He said, I thought it might be an owl, but I've never heard an owl make those noises. People are seeing something in the area in which we live, and many of them are avid hunters and outdoor enthusiasts who already know what wild animals look and sound like. They can tell the difference in what they're seeing, and it's insulting to tell a hunter that they have no idea what they saw or that you're sure they saw something else. I actually recently had someone comment on a social media post where he was talking about how he'd never seen a Sasquatch, and that he's in the woods all the time with his dogs. First of all, the dogs are the reason he's never seen one. Sasquatch don't like dogs and they don't like firearms. Dogs are small and annoying, and some will attack whether it's in their best interest or not. Obviously, hunting dogs are better trained than regular dogs, but they're dogs regardless. An intelligent being isn't going to put up with that, and they'll either avoid them or get rid of the annoyances they see fit, which will not be in a nice or gentle way. There are 2 911 calls from an individual in Kitsap County, the Port Orchard area to be specific, where that person was reporting someone lurking around his property. First, his dog was thrown over a tall fence, and he couldn't figure out how. He told the 911 operator that she was dead before she hit the ground. Here is that sound recording.
911, are you reporting?
I
got a strange going on out here. Something just killed my dog.
Something killed your dog?
My dog went flying through the air over the tree. I don't know how it did it.
Okay.
Damn it, I'm really confused. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence, and he was dead when she hit the ground. I didn't see any cars. All I saw was my dog coming over the fence.
In the second call, he sees what threw his dog, and he starts panicking, asking for them to send someone out right away. Here is that recording.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my central light came on, and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was. Just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. I don't know what it was. Whatever it is, it's running. I couldn't catch it if I was going to chase it. But whatever it was standing up. I'm out here looking through the window now, and I don't see anything. I don't want to go outside. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sir?
Dia!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Oh, and the guy is on foot.
I don't know what... It's a big... real big person. That's all I can say.
Okay, but it is a person.
Yeah, I'd say it was a person, somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Is he a black male or a white male? Did you actually see whether, or was he just wearing black?
He's all black and he's big. He is big.
Sasquatch also know what firearms are and will avoid the people carrying them or aggressively warn them to leave the area. Some people have reported Sasquatch grabbing their firearms and bending or mangling them, rendering them inoperable, then angrily chasing them out of the area. I'm going to end on that note. When you go into the woods, make sure you practice caution, like you would any other time. Listen carefully to your surroundings. If you get a bad feeling, listen to what it's trying to tell you. If you've ever had an encounter with Sasquatch or other cryptids, UFOs, or the paranormal, let us know at kitsapsquatchwatch@gmail.com. And remember, keep your eyes on the tree line.